original hammerhead was designed by Ray Duncan, better known as Pappy Ray, Ray's Custom Baits. He used it for himself and for some of his friends. It was a great crappie jig, and you can see it has the collar for the barbs for your plastic baits. When I met Pappy and I wanted to introduce that hammerhead to our fly tie-in friends, we took Pappy's Ray's design, removed the collar, and created a mold so that we have the hammerhead with the hook bare for fly tying. In order to do that hammerhead, to make sure, you had to put on a thread base. And once you lay down a thread base, you could then tie on your materials. It kept the materials from sliding. You had to put a thread base on, kept the materials from sliding. Then we had a couple of fly tiers saying, can you do a collar on that hammerhead for Marabou? It seems that Marabou wants to slide off, even though you have a thread base, he wants to slide off the thread base. So we designed the hammerhead with a collar for fly tying Marabou. As you can see from this point here, the neck is thinner and the back is thicker. Once you put the Marabou on this area and tie it down, as the Marabou may be pulled by the fish, the thread tightens up and doesn't allow the Marabou to go off. And that is the reason for the collar. It works great. What's the advantage of the hammerhead over a roundhead? Well, one of the big advantages of the hammerhead is it doesn't get caught up in the brush as much. As you pull through the brush and the bottom of the hammerhead, the bottom, hits a branch, it pushes your hook up so as the branch goes by, it doesn't get caught on the hook. The same thing happens in the other direction. If you're pulling it through the brush and you hit a branch, hits it, it pushes this head, let me do it this way, pushes this head up, and it doesn't allow the hook to get caught on the branch. The hammerhead swims, so you got movement through the water as a swimming bait. Another advantage of the hammerhead is it wobbles as it goes down. As you cast out and it's dropping down, it will wobble. Take a look at these two. The hammerhead, when it hits the bottom, stands upright. The roundhead lays on the bottom. So I think that's a big advantage of the hammerhead. So the hammerhead swims. The hammerhead stands up when it's on the bottom. The hammerhead doesn't get caught in the brush as much for the reasons I told you. When a brush hits the top, it pushes the hook down. When it hits the bottom, it pushes the hook up, missing the branch. So those are all positive things. We now can tie on that hammerhead, and we have a collar that we can tie Marabou on. Let me do that for you. Okay, let's tie a Marabou jig. Marabou jigs are one of the better fish catching jigs. A lot of people tie the Marabou jig. So let's put a thread base on, and then we're going to tie on our Marabou. We'll start on this side. Put some Marabou on there. Turn it over. Get another piece, some more Marabou. Tie some Marabou on here. And I'll put a little marabou on the top of the hook. I'm going to wet the marabou a little bit. It's flying all over the place. And I put a collar on it. Sometimes I like to put a red collar, but right now I'm going to just tie it with the green or olive. Do whip finish. Do it again. At this point, we have our marabou tied on, and to be honest, you do not have to put glue on it. Okay, there we have a great marabou jig. Ready for the fly line or the spin cast line. Pull those little fibers off, in the water that marabou just pulsates. So now if you want, you can put a little dab of glue on it, but that thread is not going to come off. It's going to keep and hold that marabou really tight. Thanks for watching.